This is what happens in an altcoin crash with no seatbelts. Today is July the 9th, 2019, and in today's episode, we're going to introduce my new Patreon setup for the Bull Market Watch. And we're going to have a long live stream going through all of the cryptocurrencies in our Bull Market Watch so that we can see just how bad the crash is at the moment. What are we going to do with our Bitcoin, and when are we going to get back into alts? Before we go in to the good stuff, I'll just stop by the disclaimer. You can pause the video to read through this. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. All right, now I'm interested in getting your assistance to help me out. First of all, today's video from the 24 hours of Bitcoin and yesterday's and all through the week, last week and before that, we were watching for these bottom formation breakouts. This amazing move in Bitcoin is more amazing than I expected, but I was expecting it from our indicators. It was showing us the patterns. So let's take a quick look at Bitcoin right now. It is inside a potential 1, 2, 3 top formation right now. But as we saw in the video earlier this morning, the indicators are all so bullish along this right side of this potential head and shoulders formation that it is, to me, clearly going to be blasting straight up from here. It's insane, actually, to take a look at the daily chart and to see what's happened since our exponential moving average crossed over on the daily over here. We had the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout, big bullish signal here that we were dancing up and down talking about. But even though I predicted prices to be going to 9,400 to 12,300, it was kind of like, it seemed like a dream or impossible to have these kind of candles stacking up after we just did a big bull run like that. But here we are, and we don't know where it's going to end up going. Everything is looking great. So be sure to check out that video. There's a link in the description down below. But the purpose of this video is to go through the Bull Market Watch, and I'm upgrading the Bull Market Watch and doing more with it, and I'm making it available to patrons for $15 a month. So you can get access to this new spreadsheet for $15 a month, and you get weekly video reviews of the entire scenario so that within 30 minutes you've got the overview of everything going on in the cryptos. Now, I am watching a live stream that is offline, and it says it's playing. So, I don't know if I'm in the right place. I am. Let me refresh this page. The penalty of switching accounts. Then I can get over to the correct live stream. There we go. Double check to be sure that's working, and no, it appears not to be. Let me reset this live stream. All right, so I am going to do some mucking about these next few live streams to be sure that everything's connected up and working properly, because the chat should be showing up on the screen right now. And many times I start this out, I've had this trouble where I don't have it connected up properly. Can't be connected properly, otherwise it would be working. So I will leave that for now, and I'll watch the chat off to the side. So let me know where you're from in the world, and I'll be happy to say hello. So the purpose of this video is to go over the cryptocurrencies and see what's happening as a result of this Bitcoin takeoff. It's absolutely crushed the cryptocurrencies, and we can see a measure of that with the Bitcoin dominance here. This is the 5-year view. This is the weekly view of the Bitcoin dominance. We're slowly going less and less as cryptos increased in the world, And then there was a point here, March to July of 2017, where the Bitcoin dominance really slid off as altcoins went to the moon. And this is a time when Bitcoin was going up. It was going from $1,000 to about $2,500 or $3,000 during this time. And then it went from $3,000 to $25,000 during this time. And as it pulled back from $25,000 or $20,000, then the alts had another bit of a bull run here. And so as this was building up into a potential bottom formation here, double bottom formation, I was anticipating that that might have been what's coming up for us. But as we know, as it turns out, Bitcoin dominance just continued to crush the alts down. This chart shows the altcoin market cap versus dominance. So it's kind of the inverse of the Bitcoin dominance chart, March to July of 2017. And here we are now, where this shows the relative price of altcoins versus Bitcoin. If I start zooming in on this, here's a 3-month view. We can see here, well, we can't see it, but April 1st, the first week in April, should have exited all altcoins and been straight Bitcoin leverage trades to the long would have really crushed it all the way here. But now we're taking assessment of where are all these altcoins, are there opportunities, when are they going to shape up, and how are we going to be able to tell? So the main way for us to tell is by observing. So if we go through this Bull Market Watch spreadsheet, I'm going to pull this back. I think that messes things up though for my other page. There we go. Okay. So what I'm looking for here and what I've set up is a color-coded way of expressing our trading signals. Our trading signals are provided to you. If you become a patron, you get a copy of my book for $79 value included, so that you make the most out of these alerts as you go along, or this spreadsheet as you go along. And you understand the trading system that's behind this color coding. So gray means neutral, orange and red is bearish, yellow and green are bullish. So we can see through this period of time here in the beginning of January, everything was pretty much bullish. There were a few that were starting to show up as bullish. Everything else was pretty much neutral to bearish all the way along here. But there were a few markets that we could see starting out. Litecoin, we caught this one on February 1st. Litecoin went from neutral to an alert, and the next day it went to a hold. And we were able to pick out some of these coins that were taking off first by color coding it like this and track them throughout their trade as they went along. And then the most important thing is, as we tracked this, it went from bearish to neutral all the way across. And so there were 2 weeks here. There's a week period of time where the whole market, it has bearish above it and sort of neutral in this strip. And then you can see the color coding. It's bullish down below, where the middle of February, everything's breaking out of those bottom formations. It's giving us confirmation that it is not just a wave up the beach, but kind of a piece of the tide moving. We know now it didn't continue to roll up the beach too far. But all the way along here through February, March, and right to the end of March, we were able to see that it was bull, bull, bull all the way. And there on April the 1st, April the 2nd, we could see that things were starting to change. We started to get a few of them turning blue, which is the exit all the way along. And I didn't do this for the month of April pretty much. I got busy with other things. I was doing my own trading and I didn't have time to do this live stream. And so I'm hoping that the patron group helps keep this going on a consistent basis, makes it worthwhile for everybody so that you guys can enjoy this fantastic data and I get a chance to keep up at it. Now we can see that April 29th, at the beginning of May, everything is bearish almost. It started to pick up and look a little bit teasing there in the end of May, but as we know now, it's gone down, down, down as Bitcoin has been taking off and the dominance has absolutely crushed us. We're into greens and reds all the way along here. So how many of you in the chat are holding Bitcoin or altcoins? Are you most heavy in Bitcoin or most heavy in altcoins? Right now I'm sitting 60-40. So a good part of my portfolio has stepped back as altcoins have been crushed. And it is frustrating. It would have been better certainly to bid 100% into Bitcoin all the way along here. And yet, when I look at the longer term view, there was a time I held my Bitcoin all the way through this, all the way through this, all the way through to there. And I know that the altcoins are going to be doing the same in the long run, so I'm not too worried about the 40% of my coin that is in altcoins right now. I'll leave it sit. It'll do its thing, it'll take its time, and it'll perk its way back up again. And we're going to monitor it and watch it all here. So our spreadsheet is here, and I have another copy of it down below so that we can quickly go through and take a look at this. But you can see here that about 2 o'clock in the morning here today, I was up and I was working on this spreadsheet. I updated it to capture where things were in all of these markets. So the data right here along the bottom is the most current stuff. Tomorrow, I'll go and update this again, and everybody who's a patron will get access to this. Every single day you have access to the spreadsheets, and every week I'll be doing a very brief version of this video where we're going through all the markets. So this way you get the complete overview of the markets. You get to watch it incrementally day by day as this shapes up, and you support the stream for continuing to do it. So starting off now, we can confirm here that Ardor is indeed a fail. This is what I consider to be red in our spreadsheet. It has failed below the recent 1, 2, 3 bottoms that we were watching to shape up. We watched for this one to shape up. It was a great breakout, but I was expecting that the alts were going to continue going higher, not pull up and then drop, crash back as Bitcoin is taking off and crushing them all. Let's continue on just to go through. Atom is also a fail where it's broken down to new lows, and this has to establish a new bottom formation before we can get into this. We can't jump on any spike that goes on. We have to wait for this to absolutely turn around and start going in the other direction before we're jumping in. Otherwise, if you've been jumping in on these alts when they made a little bit of a move and then you had to sell it out at a bit of a loss because it didn't do anything well, or if you're holding the bag on these things, it's the same trouble. Now, basic attention token is marked as a near fail because it is above or holding with support and resistance at old historical levels. And I was surprised this morning as I started to go through in more detail for the alerts package on Binance. I was surprised to find how many markets were still holding potential bottoms, where they're at a double bottom. From the same levels price here on Bitcoin, the same level of price here on Bitcoin. So I imagine that the US dollar value of basic attention token has stayed pretty steady as Bitcoin's been going up and down. This has been going down as Bitcoin's going up, but that's also the US dollar value is probably holding steady. Now I'm going to zoom out and continue on. BCH, if you have a specific market you want me to check out, let me know. BCH, ABC, also a fail. So we've got this marked in our spreadsheet as a fail. BCH SV, I don't have it in the spreadsheet, but actually it's holding itself here. It would be a near fail because it hasn't broken down below this support and resistance. BCN is a fail in the spreadsheet because of where it's broken down. Banker Network token is also a fail down below. There's going to be weeks before these are really turning around and can possibly give us a bottom formation that matches our criteria. So the criteria that this stream is looking for is the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation after a break of the downtrend line, and then when the exponential moving averages on the 12-hour time frame cross over, that gives us our trading signal. And it's going to be a while because we have to have a 1, 2, 3 and then cross above that at such a time frame that this exponential moving average will cross over. And we can see how long this one was. That's a month of time there, and it wasn't enough on this bottom formation to make it cross over. The bottom formation has to go for a month like this sideways and end higher. Then our exponential moving averages are going to cross over. So it's going to be a while for the alts. Clam is a double bottom here almost. It's actually higher lows on this, but I'm not trading Clam. I don't trust it at all. Civic coin also down to new lows, and this is one that was really shaping up to be looking so fantastic, like our 123 bottom that we wanted to get into. Prices were breaking above it, and the exponential moving average crossed over, and then it went back, and Bitcoin started to take off and crushed everything back from that June 11th or June 12th date. There's another really specific date where things start moving, and you can see the difference in the alts on those days. Let's continue to quickly go through these. Dash is also a fail. Decreed, well, it's very close to a fail. This is a near fail. It is hammering down to all-time lows. So it's not something to be getting into until it finishes that bottom formation. I don't know if we'll find anything at all that's worth getting into that isn't gambling. Of course, you could get into something when it's at a perfect low, but you're really gambling. I'm waiting for the 123. I'm waiting for the trend to change direction. So this was really close. This is really nice. We got a 1, 2, 3 setting up. Prices broke above it, and that could have been a sucker play right there, but it didn't have the exponential moving average crossover, and I want to have that filter out our actions. There's nothing to do here. As close as it was to do, this is a no action zone. And to start off with, we'll talk more about that as we're building our positions the next time we have a bottom formation breakout. Then we'll talk more about building our positions and how to put that on properly so that you are not going to get your assets reduced as you are trying out one of these potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. We'll talk more about the risk control as we go along. Where's my mouse? Doge. Okay, Doge has hit a triple bottom, which actually is really good. I'm going to pay attention to this. It's been newly listed onto Binance, and it's held its own here. It hasn't broken down to new lows. In fact, it's higher a couple Satoshi than this previous low before. So Dogecoin, actually, where is that? I've got it listed as a near fail, but I'm going to move that up to neutral in our spreadsheet. And I'll track that one as it's picking up, because as it's picking up past these levels, we are in a springboard trade entry. We'll have to really watch it. It's on the 12-hour time frame. The moving average, the exponential moving averages would cross over pretty quickly. Moving on to EOS, a fail. Ethereum Classic, a fail. Nothing to do here. Ethereum also failing down to new lows, and this is really long-term history lows. So cracking below this level is going to go down considerably. Once it breaks those levels, there's not much holding it for. That'll be interesting to see. And also interesting to be looking at all of the indicators underneath it to see what's going on with the volume pattern, what's going on with the relative strength index, what's going on with the on-balance volume, what's going on with the Ichimoku cloud. All of these 4 indicators will be part of the patron experience. This is a fail. Foam is neutral. What do I have that marked as? Neutral. Good. So it is holding. If it isn't a downtrend for sure, but it isn't broken down to new lows. So that's like bullish compared to all the rest. This one, gas, what is this, game? It's at a near fail level, but really 1 Satoshi lower, and it's failing to new lows again. Crazy. Game, or gas rather, also fail to new lows. Golem Network token, I had it marked as a near fail, but it's upgraded now to a fail. Let me change that in the spreadsheet. And here we have Grin, which I've got marked as a fail because I considered this consolidation to be a new little bottom, and it failed below that, which could be a near fail, could be neutral, any one of those. But because it's failed below those levels, it's got to make a whole new bottom formation now on this side in order to be upgraded to a trade alert or anything. Kyber Network token, fail. Library credits, fail. Loom, fail. LPT, I don't know what this is, but it is only a near fail. Let me slide this along here so it keeps up with us. Lisk, fail. Litecoin, well, if it's near fail, it should be listed as a fail now. I'll update it. because this is very pessimistic for the alts. It's going to be a while. MadeSafe coin was marked as a near fail, but now I'll update it to a fail. So from over the last 12 hours, a lot of these have gone down more. Mana holds its near fail status, and with a little green candle right there, I want to watch to see what's going on with Mana. Navcoin's also a fail. This one was marked as a near fail. Now I'll upgrade it to a fail, because it's broken down to new lows. It was so close at 2 o'clock this morning, but now down it goes more. NXT is marked as a fail. OMG is marked as a near fail. I'm going to update that one to a fail as well. Just down. Omni, it's marked as neutral there, but I'm going to have to upgrade it to a near fail. Isn't that awful? There's just nothing good going on here in these alts. Now, Pascal I had marked as an alert, which is a little premature, I'll have to say. I'm going to move that back to neutral. I must have been zoomed in on a smaller time frame. That even here on this time frame, it's giving me a 3-2-1 formation, not a 1-2-3. It didn't make new lows and then retest and fail that. It's made new lows. So this is a new number 1 point here, even though the exponential moving average is crossed over. Because I don't have the right formation, this would filter it out of my trades for right now. I would give this more time to set itself up. I believe all of these coins will be doing the setup, and we have lots of time. As we're seeing here, it's going to be a month. It'll be 3 weeks at the minimum before these can be turning around on the 12-hour time frame. Now, they may turn around on the 1-hour time frame and the 4-hour time frame, and we'll look at that, but this trading spreadsheet is focused on the 12-hour timesheet. So this poly is marked as a fail. I'll leave it there. So quantum. Where do we go? Quantum. Okay, this was an alert earlier. It made a 1-2-3 bottom formation. It broke out higher. It had a little bit of strength, and then that's failed. And so this is the where you, in all of these alts, you want to start off with a bit of your whole total position. So if I have $100 in Bitcoin, maybe I would put $5 into this, considering, or $10, thinking that I'll add another $10 on later if I'm proven correct. And I'll get out if this doesn't prove me correct. So I started off with a small bit of my trade and was not proven correct. I would get out with a small loss and watch for this to continue and to reform itself from here. That's on the 1-day time frame that's crossed over too, so that's pretty significant. All right, so it is important out of these bottom formations to be trading with small bits to start off with, and then we'll see as it picks up. There'll be lots of time. We will have time to do it. Rep is marked as a fail, but it just has a little buying candle there. Let's zoom in on that. Just a bit of a pump went on there. Wonder if there's some news come out about it. Let's continue on to our spreadsheet. Coin is a near fail. Nothing going on. Nothing going on here. SNT is a fail. Here's another fail for Steam. Storage is a near fail, almost failing down to new lows. Stellar Lumens, fail. This has been an enormous fail. Absolutely enormous fail. I was seeing this triangle building up to being something spectacular. And prices came up, tested these levels, and it's been on just a downtrend ever since. Really didn't trade this one well at all. Expecting a turnaround, expecting a turnaround, expecting a turnaround. So I lost little chips and chips and chips on that by putting on a trade and then getting out when it was just profitable, getting into a trade, getting out a little bit of a loss, getting into a trade, a little bit of a loss. High maintenance market, that one. Ignored the trend and kept trying to buck it and watch for the Bitcoin turnaround, which of course hasn't come yet. And now we're seeing everything get crushed down even more. So Strat is down to new lows. That's a fail. And Viacoin is one of the new, actually making a double bottom. So it's not a fail, but it's a near fail. It's nearly failing to new lows, as it was back here, as it was in here. Now it is here. As Bitcoin is going higher, these all get crushed more. VTC. All right, no trade signal here, and actually it's coming down to a fail territory. Where is VTC? Yeah, it's marked as fail. XEM marked as a fail. It's come down to new lows, broke lower than back here. XMR. This one's been dropping and dropping and dropping. Very significant here. Had a bit of a pump and really pulled back. So this is the kind of thing that we don't want to react to. Even though it's so exciting to see it pulling up like this, we're on the 12-hour bar. This is 1, 2, 3 days. Very tantalizing, but this is the kind of trade that I'm disciplining myself to wait. Wait for it. Don't get jumped in on the wave of the first move to go. Wait for it to complete. Show me the tide is changing directions. Then I'll switch from Bitcoin into altcoins again. XPM, near fail. Ripple, I think that's a new fail. It's failing down to even new lows. There was so much news and pump and hype about Ripple. When this blast off took off, there was so much news going on, but we have 3 exhaustion wicks to the top, a top formation break. Once this trend line broke, it is time to get out. There's your top formation and the trend line break. We got to watch for those later, maybe 6 months from now, after these altcoins have bottomed, turned around, made new highs, and they're topping out. All right, so we got new lows on Zcash, so that turns into a fail, and this one turns into a fail as well. Let me go and double check Primecoin. Oh, that is it. I'll move that to a fail. And XMR I have as neutral. Yeah. There. All right. So now when I bring this over to the cover page again, this will be updated and show us the most recent detail. There is nothing bullish. Like nothing bullish. Crazy. So if we start from the very beginning here, we're looking, the only thing bullish is Bitcoin. Only thing bullish is Bitcoin. We move along, we have gray on Doge, gray on foam. Pascal, Quantum. I wonder if these will be the starting coins when the bull market starts to go. XMR, not really expecting it. So a really terrible day for the alts, but great to have the data recorded, because this is the kind of data that we can use to track what's going on in other markets. So Bitcoin has just made a crack down here. Let's zoom in and take a look at the RSI. Important top formation now to be digging into this. So the RSI break from its uptrend is important. It had room to work its way up. That could have done it, but it's made some retracements here. So now let's zoom out and see what's going on. And I also want to go and take a look at Ethereum, US dollar, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Now that Bitcoin has taken that step back, let's zoom into the... So Ethereum is bouncing back up on the 5-minute bar immediately as soon as Bitcoin is easing off. Let's go and see what Litecoin's doing. Sure enough, it is bouncing up as soon as Bitcoin is easing off. And so the nature of this bounce back is going to be really, really important for our cryptocurrencies. If we don't want to be jumping in on something like this that pulls us all the way back down, we gotta wait now for it to turn around and start going the other direction. Have those exponential moving averages cross over. Let's go back to Bitcoin. I want to zoom out on this RSI and watch it, because this morning in the video, the details were looking at this bottom, like a double bottom here, and that we had quite a ways to go up into the really overbought territory. This space here. And then it broke that level, but it hasn't broken down completely. And I really want to observe that and watch it as it unfolds. What are we on? The 4-hour time frame, 12-hour time frame, higher lows. It still looks like this has a long ways it could go up and up and up and up before it gets to this super overbought territory, and price could really take off from there. So I am pretty, one part of me believes the top formation, and I have to act on it if I see it on the right time frame. And other than that, I just observe it so that I can pull together case studies of the top formations and how the indicators all play out as the top formation unfolds. So we can see here what's going on with the MACD indicator, that it did cross as prices were coming up to this. It really did an important cross there. This one should show the on balance volume. On balance volume on the weekly view was showing some strength, but not as much strength over on this side. Everything's looking strong here in Bitcoin. Even still, though we do have a little bit less buying pressure on this shoulder than we had over here. Those are the kind of bearish divergences that I like to look for. And this is the 1-hour time frame. So here is the 15-minute bar, a little too close. The 1-hour time frame also crossed over when prices were up here. And I was mentioning that in the live stream because the crossover of the MACD indicator is often a leading indicator of the 1-2-3 bottom formation or the 1-2-3 top formation. That means our altcoins that are making bottoms may also have the MACD indicator crossing over to a positive for them rather than for a negative here for Bitcoin. And those will likely line up at the same time. I'm watching the Ichimoku cloud and I'm looking to see if there's a twist or a crossover of the conversion line and the baseline. This is all still good. This is all still positive and bullish on the 4-hour. On the 1-hour time frame, we do have that touch, but it didn't cross over. So it's not really worrying to me. We can see that we are sort of pushing through the cloud in the 15-minute time frame, but we also have a twist to the green here, which generally is holding this the status. The conversion line is above the baseline. We broke through the cloud and just touched down below. We'll see if the bulls can reject this latest move down here. Zoom into the 1-minute view. That looks like a bear flag, actually. The big chunk down. And then a flag. We'll have to see how this plays out. And should it start to play out in top formation from here, all of these alts we just surveyed have a potential to be taking off. And sure enough, they are reacting immediately. As soon as Bitcoin is showing that softness, you can see Ethereum here. Not Factum. Grin didn't, it did move up, but not with great volume. No volume. There's some volume with Stellar as it took a step up as soon as Bitcoin eased off. All right, so that about wraps it up here for today. I will sign off for now and update this again later. So I appreciate your patience going through this because there is no good news in this all the way along, except when we zoom into the very close time frame and we're looking at this top formation. All the alts want to take off. They are waiting for Bitcoin to ease off. So if Bitcoin is going to be breaking below these top formations, we can expect alts to respond immediately. We can see the uptrend in Bitcoin, really significant, fantastic, all positive on balance volume all the way along here. And as we zoom in, we can see I've got another trend channel marked out here. Zoom into it and zoom into it again, and you can see how this trend channel is really key. It's really important in both of these trends. There goes our on balance volume, flicking to a bit of negative on the 15-minute bar. So tune in next time. We'll see what's going on, and I'll update the 24 hours of Bitcoin in the morning. Cheers for now. All the best in your Bitcoin trading. And I'll be here talking about the alts when they are finally ready to pick them back up again. All the best, and I'll see you in our Discord chat. Bye for now.